What is up, guys? Happy Thursday evening. I hope everybody's having a wonderful week. We've got a great show tonight. We've got Diggin Dixie in the house. I can't wait to bring Dixie on. Super relic and detectorist and hunter. She does all of those things, and real excited about having her on tonight. First off, I want to give a couple of shout outs before we bring Dixie in. George Weiss, Ohio Fred, Michael Coley, Wisco Detect. Chris is in the house. Bells is in the house. Dirt Devil Detecting. Terry Greenway. Just see a lot of comments coming through right now. Let's see who else we got. TN Sharpshooters here with us. As always, glad to have you, TN. And Shane DeLauder is in with us. Lance is here tonight. Ricky Bennett's in with us tonight. The other side of the boat, John Brantley. Surfside Dan, my main man here, down on the coast of South Carolina. Terry Greenway and Chris, Still Air One. Glad to have all of you. James Bazell is in here. We've got 24. We're going to let's shoot for a big number tonight. Hey, we got Diggin Dixie. Everybody should be in here ready to listen to what Diggin Dixie is going to be saying tonight. Steve Finner, excuse me. Diggin Darrell's in here with us. Jay Strongbow's in here with us. So we've got quite a few. We're picking up some people left and right as we get started. So I hope everybody's had a great week. We're going to bring Diggin Dixie in here in just a few minutes. And of course, we are going to be talking a little bit about the XP Deus II update, the 1.10 update. And we're going to do that probably towards the end of the show. But I want Diggin Dixie to have her time and let her tell a little bit about what she's been up to and talk about her journey as a metal detectorist going forward. Hey, how are you doing tonight? And so, but we are going to be talking about the update. So I'm really looking forward. I got some great things to tell you guys. That some things that I've seen. And Michael Coley's on here. He actually came down, drove all the way down from North Carolina, about a 3-hour ride just to go metal detecting with me. And we found out some pretty amazing things with the new update for the XP Deus II. Relic Jedi. Of course, Relic Jedi, I appreciate it. He sent me some great stuff too, some beautiful pictures of some things that he just recently found. So I appreciate Relic Jedi being in here tonight. So without further ado, let's bring in our main girl here, Diggin Dixie. Diggin Dixie's going to join in the video. Hey, Dixie, how are you doing tonight?
I'm good. How are y'all doing?
All right, all right. So, Dixie, I know that you just recently got onto YouTube, and I know some people are probably very familiar with your channel. Tell us a little bit about your journey. What started you metal detecting, and what are some of the things that you like to look for?
Well, what started it is basically just my dad gave me a metal detector that he wasn't using. It was actually a pretty good metal detector. It's the Garrett AT Gold. Let's see if I can.
All right, Garrett. All right, it's a USA company, guys. We got to all cheer. USA, 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 right?
So he gave that to me, and I already live in a really old house. My house was built, I think, in 1924. So I just went outside in the yard and started finding some cool things. And then I started finding some coins and falling in love with that. So I really love coin shooting myself.
Okay.
But I do love relics. I have gained a love for relics. At first, I wasn't crazy about finding them. I just wanted coins and jewelry. But
Right.
now I love finding all the history too. So
Right. So I know when we were off camera, we were talking about how when you find a relic, you really love the part of researching the relic and sort of figuring out what that piece is actually, what it actually was. So tell us one of those unique finds that you didn't know what it was when you dug it, and then afterwards it was like, oh my gosh, I've got something pretty cool here.
Well, I got a permission at some property beside the Cowpens battlefield that it had apparently never been metal detected before.
Right.
So I I found something there that I said I was just going to pretend that it was a bracelet because I didn't know what it was. That's what I was like, well, we're just going to call this my bracelet because that's what I found today. So
Right.
later, um, somebody told me that it was a a chain from like a toilet bowl, like where
Right.
you flush the toilet bowl. So I
Right.
was thinking, man, that kind of sinks. But then somebody else came back and identified it actually, and it was a nipple protector chain from a musket. So
Right, that's so cool, and,
yeah,
those oddball type finds like that are the ones that really get me going. Like, I found something, and I thought it was a lantern piece, and it turned out to be a tompion, which is a tompion is for an 1853 Enfield, Civil War rifle, and so, yeah, I didn't know what it was. I thought it was a lantern piece. I called it a lantern piece all throughout the video, and then all of a sudden I realized, hey, this isn't a lantern piece. This is something historical, and so it's so cool when you find things like that. So I definitely can understand that. So what is one of your favorite finds?
oh, my absolute favorite find is a 1922 silver piece dollar.
Okay,
I have been wanting to find one, and well, not necessarily a peace dollar. I just wanted to find a silver dollar, and so when I found it, oh, I was so excited. That was
and for those of you that don't know, a peace dollar is a pretty big coin. That's
yes.
amazing that you
I don't have
found
it
it.
too far from me. Well, I didn't think I had it too far from me.
Yeah.
I could have done show and tell, but I don't know
No,
where.
that's okay. That's all right. But a peace dollar is a very big coin, and I think it's 90 something percent silver. So yeah, that's a very, very, very cool find, especially to find one of those. I have one of those, but I did not find it. Someone actually gave it to me. So, but I've never dug a peace dollar. So look, Daisy Dixie, you got something. You got something that I don't have. So very good. Terry Greenway says, I found a nipple protector made from a 69 caliber mini ball. And he says, I just love
That is
it. So there
so
you
fun.
go. So see,
Yeah.
there's all kind. Outhouse Otis is in the house. He says, hey, everyone. And I'm sure he's glad to see Dixie in the house. So, Dixie, I know you mainly look for yards and stuff. How do you go about finding some of your permissions in your area? I know a lot of people be curious about that.
Well, I'm a chicken, so I don't really like
I
asking.
can't imagine you being a chicken though.
I am a chicken. I don't like. I just feel bad asking, and I don't want to get my feelings hurt if somebody tells me no. So I try to like, say, "Oh, it would be so great if like you would let me do this," but just kind of poke around, and then they kind of offer it at me.
Yeah.
Or sometimes I'll like find the person on Facebook and see that I have mutual friends, like maybe with my mama or something, and I'll try to get my mama to get me some permissions too, because she likes talking to people.
Right.
She's not as bashful as me, so.
I get that. I use my dad a lot of times too because my dad knows a lot of people in the area that he lives in, and I'll say, "Hey, Dad, do you know where this place is, and do you know who owns it?" And he's like, "Oh yeah, I know who owns it. I'll call him up for you," and that's how it usually ends up working. So I believe me, I totally get it. I totally get it. So, is one of the most interesting places that you have metal detected?
Mm, Probably the property beside the Cowpens battlefield, but then there is a church that I've metal detected that was built in the 1800s, and I have found um, a good bit of silver coins there. So I found a barber dime there.
Right.
It's just I really like that church, so and it has a lot of history.
Right, and it's so neat though, because like you said, when you go to those places like that and you find something really really cool, and you know that it was from somebody that went to that church, and that kind of stuff, just when you can relate things back to people and a time period, that's what gets me going a lot. And of course, with me being a history teacher, that's what I just love. Um, we got a couple of people in here that are asking. I think I saw. Oh yeah. Oh, Outhouse Otis says a good way that he is finding places is he goes on to Facebook Marketplace and puts up a post asking if anyone has land they don't mind being detected. He said you'd be surprised how many people will reply and give you permission to hunt their land. So
That is a great idea. I never
yeah, I
thought
know.
about doing
And
that.
there's a lot of people that use those ideas too. I've done that before, actually.
Okay,
So,
I might
yeah,
do that
yeah,
after we log off of here.
yeah, that's it. Go ahead and do that. Um, let's read through some of these comments. BK says, "Hey, teach visiting family in Pennsylvania, enjoying the detecting the dirt as opposed to the beach." I get it, BK. Me too, as well. Dirt Devil Detecting. I'll be doing a live next week on how I research and find permissions and making that connection without door knocking. So, Dirt Devil Detecting is a guy that's actually made a couple of accessories. And since he's on here, I'm going to share one of his accessories. And this right here is, and I'm going to give a good close up of it. We're going to see how this new camera works. Y'all see how that camera zoomed in and it blurred me out and put that thing in there. But anyway, this is a stand for an XP Deus II shaft. So, you know how the stand will sort of flop over. Well, now you can hook this on basically by bending this and snapping it on, and you can have your XP Deus II stand up. So, good plug for Dirt Devil Detecting. If you're interested in a stand, then he's got one here for you. So, and they fit really, really well. And I'll show one in a few minutes, actually. But so Dirt Devil Detecting says he will have some. Dixie, you might want to check that out when he has his live stream.
Oh, okay, yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
I need to.
Yeah. Jerry Talley says 40 or 50 years ago, found a large penny at the old church my great grandmother went to. She died in 1973 at 93. So, again, Jerry's talking about making connections. He's made a connection with this church. So, uh, Joshua Sipe says, Zoom, great. How do we order? Just contact Dirt Devil Detecting. I can put a link on this video once it's over with, and I'm sure that he will be glad to hook you up. Michael Coley's on here too. He has one of those stands, and they work awesome, and they help your detector stand up, and they're really solid plastic too. So they really are made very durable. So definitely check him out. Jay Strombo says, put a small sample of interesting finds like reals, larceny, shoe buckles, etc. you find and show them to landowners when you ask for permission. Right. Works most of the time and people love it. So, Dixie, I had a guy on not too long ago, and one thing that he did, and this is something too that you might can try, is he actually had a book created through Shutterfly or one of those companies that sort of makes books. And he goes around to people's houses. And so when he knocks on a door, he shows them some of the things that he finds and what he's actually looking for. And some people are more receptive when they actually see that. So that's another great idea. Jay Strombo's exactly right, is to create a book. So Dirt Devil Detecting says, thanks, Brian. New ones slide and snap on without bending. All right. So there you go. So Dirt Devil Detecting has got some new ones to slide onto your XP Deus II. James Bazell says the Deus II got me a 1936 Merc today in a heavily hit park using version 1.10, and we are going to talk about that in a few minutes. Joshua Sipes says, "Hey Brian, have you used the lanyard yet?" So let's help Josh out too. Josh, I have my lanyard. Let's see if I can zoom in with that. You guys see the lanyard? This is for the pinpointer, and it's made of high nylon and sort of a real strong bungee material, very durable. Josh has done a great job of designing this and making it to where it's very useful. I have the longer version of that, and it works extremely well. Josh is on here, so I'll put his link on my page too after the video's over with. So, Dixie, back to you. I'm a Gamecock fan, but Dixie is a Clemson fan. Y'all see that? So we should be enemies, but we're not enemies. We're not enemies.
Not at all.
Yeah, we love our Tigers and we love our Gamecocks. So South Carolina is a great place to live, and we're just fortunate that we have really good football teams, right?
Right? I mean, come on.
So very good. So Dixie, tell me about what's probably one of the most difficult things that you've had to deal with metal detecting.
Well, I was metal detecting a curb strip, and I had a lady come at me like she was trying to fight me. So that was really difficult for me. Like I thought she was going to attack me, but she didn't. So so that's difficult for me. And I guess just now, like now that I have a channel and I'm recording things or whatever, it's getting used to being on the camera. That's been kind of difficult for me. So.
Right. Well, you're a natural on the camera. I can already
Thank
say
you.
that. Well, that's the truth. I mean, and I know you're good friends with Discovery Daisy. She's excellent on camera. You guys both do an excellent job. And like I told you off screen, your personalities show through. People can relate to you. And I like, and I think a lot of people in here go subscribe to Diggin Dixie's channel. Give her a follow, give her a subscription, because this girl goes out and she works hard on digging her targets. I've watched her, and it's fascinating. I love it because she's getting down and dirty with with her digging, and I love it. Because I see some people, even guys too. It's not just girls, but I see some guys that you don't see everything that goes through the whole process, and I think you do a great job of showing that. So definitely go give her a subscription or go give her a follow. Diggin Dixie, tell them what platforms you're on too.
I do have a TikTok that I don't go on there like a whole lot. I'm on Facebook. You can follow me on Facebook. I have an Instagram. I don't really go on Instagram much, but I mean, I have them. It's more to direct traffic toward YouTube. I'm probably the most responsive on YouTube because I check the comments on YouTube all the time.
So you brought up YouTube. Thank you, Stink Ass Cat. Stink Ass Cat with a $50 spot tonight. Thank you so much. Dixie, I know, appreciates it too as well. Stink Ass Cat's one of our main donors. He says Oklahoma Sooners, though. Diggin Dixie. You see that?
I see that.
I have relatives in Oklahoma, though, Stink Ass Cat, so I can go with the Sooners. So that's good. But I really appreciate the donation. What you're seeing tonight, if you guys haven't noticed, I do have a new camera, and this new camera is coming in crystal clear tonight, and I'm real excited. And these donations that people have given have gone to the purchase of this camera. I've spent about $1,200 in cameras. Diggin Dixie. That's what I did. I spent $1,200 on a camera to do live streams. That's the truth. I'm not making that up.
I was telling him before the show, y'all, that I'm so cheap. Like I don't need money. So that's a lot of money to make.
So let's talk about that for a minute. What do you use to videotape? Since we brought up cameras, now we can, and Stink Ass Cat giving us $50. Let's talk about that.
I just use my iPhone.
So. You use your phone.
Yeah.
Well, you do a really good job if that's all you're using.
Yeah, that's what I use. I do have I have a GoPro, but I don't really use it much. So I just use my phone.
Right. And the GoPro, and these guys are going to see it. And guys, by the way, I do have a video coming out after this live stream's over with tonight on the 1.10 update. But GoPros can be just so aggravating sometimes. Like I wear a head mount, and sometimes my head mount, because of I don't know if it's the size of my head or the strap or whatever, I think it's worn out. So my GoPro will slide down my head, and then it ends up cuts off half of my stuff that I'm looking at, while I'm hunting. And so, yeah, I get all of that, and it's good if you can use your phone because your phone gives such good crystal clear picture. And I'm using a GoPro, and I can set it up in 4K, and it looks great. But sometimes I'll have that problem with it sliding down. So the other day I tried a chest mount, and it was moving around way too much while I was actually digging the holes, and I was just like, I'm so aggravated with that. But yeah, if you can get away with using your phone, and you've done a good job because I've watched a lot of your videos, and they're good videos. I mean, because you show everything. You show the trash, you show the treasure, you show everything, and I love that because a lot of people that watch metal detecting videos, one of the things they get sucked into is they think that every time we go out, all we're digging is treasure, and it's not that way, is it? Is it?
Not at all.
You dig treasure every time you go out?
No. I get way too many pull tabs and way too many just cans. I mean, aluminum cans can sound like silver coins.
Right. Well, we got to get you hooked up with a multi-frequency detector. So yeah, we're gonna work on that for you. Lance McElwain says I only have 60 subscribers. Well, Lance works hard too, and Dixie gets out. But for some people, it's not about the subscribers. It's just about putting the content out there, maybe for family, maybe for other people to watch that are close to you. But again, all of it's about just going out and having fun. Forget about the subscribers, forget about the followers, go out and have fun. And that'll come through on the video. It really will. And I know Dixie does a great job because she's so enthusiastic when she's finding things. And that's another reason why I like her channel, is because I love that enthusiasm and what she brings. And it's really, really good. So, hey, Iffy's in the house. Glad to have Iffy. Iffy's a big time tester and metal detector. So we're always glad to have our friend Iffy in the house. So what is your most I won't say expensive find? What do you think is other than that peace dollar, what is your best find?
I mean, I think I found a little silver ring at a waterfall.
Right.
And that probably I think is my best find. I don't know. Or maybe like the coolest or like most unique kind of thing.
Yeah. Okay.
Was I found a love ring on Valentine's Day.
Oh yeah, that's cool.
So I don't think that would ever happen again in a million years. But
so have you dug any gold? That's probably the big question. No gold yet?
So much aluminum foil.
Right.
Like I have because
Right.
it rings up just like gold.
Right, exactly.
And I'm guilty of skipping lower tones just thinking that it's probably just more foil.
Right. Yeah. Well, now I hunt on the beach since I'm only a mile from the beach.
Yeah.
So, I know what that feels like. You go down there and gosh, you got this great signal and it sounds like gold. And then all of a sudden, you dig it and it's the pull off of one of those drink things, the little things that the kids drink out of. It's that time.
Yes. Oh, yes.
Oh, it drives me so bananas. But there's no way around it. That's the bad thing about it. And, you can listen to it 100 times and it's still going to sound. And it doesn't matter what detector you have. You're going to dig those targets on the beach. I don't care who you are. Whether it's
I mean, if I was on the beach, I feel like I would. But I feel like every yard I've ever detected is like all the families for breakfast, lunch, and dinner just went outside with their tent full and had their breakfast, lunch, and dinner and just left it there. So
Yeah, I
There's
know.
so much foil in New
Yeah,
York.
they just took their foil and watered it up and just dropped it, threw it in the
Yeah,
ground. It's everywhere.
everywhere.
So, and I think a lot of people are agreeing with us. He says those round foil tops, those are the ones that get me too, Josh. I really understand that. Uh, Lance says that he found an 1857 gold dollar
Oh my
coin.
gosh.
Yeah, I know. Dixie, what would you do if you dug an 1857 gold coin?
Cardiac arrest.
Cardiac arrest.
That's what I would do. Go into cardiac arrest. I wouldn't
um,
be able to handle it.
yeah, there are so many good people on here too. Keith Nixon was on here earlier. He's a friend of mine, and Keith has done some unbelievable things. And I see all kinds of things, and I'm just going, man, I would just love to find something like that. But I don't even know if Keith's dug a gold coin. So gold coins are really hard to dig, and I felt like I was on a site um, that has the opportunity for a gold coin, but I just can't get that signal. So, who knows? Who knows? So, Bell says, "Wow, congratulations, Lance." A lot of people says, or Dirt Double Detecting says, "When I hit the beach, I always walk away saying people are such pigs."
Yeah, it's true.
That is true. Let's see here. I'm liking 1.10. We're going to get to the 1.00 in just a few minutes. Lance says that after he dug that gold coin, which he's got it there in his avatar, he says, "I woke up 2 days later after digging that." So, NC Rocket, he says, "I finally made it. Thank you for being here. We've got so many great people in here tonight. So glad to have each and every one of you." So, Dixie, do you have you ever been on a big hunt, like a hunt with a bunch of people? Have you done that yet?
Mm-mm.
All right. So, and here's the other, and I know I probably should have asked you this off screen too, but how long have you been detecting?
Um, um, maybe going on 2 years, I guess.
2 years.
Not very long, and I know that my finds aren't like the greatest compared to a lot of y'all, but I'm
That
I'm gonna get there.
well, look, I can already tell you from what I've seen on your videos, you are going to get there, and you're going to get there in a hurry because you seem like you're very knowledgeable with that Garrett. What do you like about the Garrett? Tell us that too.
It's so easy to use.
Right.
Like I just ran out the door and started using it. Like, and I like that I can tell kind of what I'm digging by like the tone, like the different tones, and I've learned them and I've learned all the VDIs. Like, so I feel like when I do upgrade, it's gonna be a hard transition for me.
Right.
But I think I'm up for it. But I love the Garrett, like, and I love the sound of it too, because I have metal detected with a lot of other people who have different machines, and I don't like the sound of their beeps compared to the sound of mine. Maybe
Right.
weird.
Right. So you like the audio on the Garrett. You feel comfortable with it.
Mm-hmm.
And we have this conversation, I want to say every week on this channel. you know it doesn't matter whether you've got a $1,500 machine or a $200 machine. It's how you learn how to use that machine, you know and you're doing great with this machine, and I can tell you gelled with it. And eventually you are probably going to want to upgrade. I mean, we all go through that process, and you're going to want to go to a multi-frequency detector hopefully in your future. And you're going to want to be able to learn the settings and the things that go along with those other machines. So your background, I know I asked you this. So what drove you to this other than just your dad giving you the detector? What made you want to just walk out the door and go detect?
Well, I mean,
Was it a thrill of finding treasure? Was it or you had a
I was
calling
just
for
kind of curious at first, like
right,
just to see what was there, and then when I started finding things, like I don't know, I loved it. And then the first ring that I found I thought was real, so it gave me like this adrenaline rush. So the only thing I could compare it to, which I've always loved catfishing, right? So I used to like catfish in tournaments, and it kind of gave me the same rush that like just a really big fish
right.
in my
Right, so
line.
you like that adrenaline rush, it's like a
Mhm.
thrill.
Yeah.
So, if you dug a diamond ring, I mean, would you get a thrill out of that?
What my gosh. Like I wouldn't be able to get a grip like
Okay. All right. And you can see the comments. Relic Jet A says, Your collection will grow, Dixie. You are hooked in the hobby. Give it time. And again, guys, if you haven't watched her channel, you'll see what I'm talking about. Just the enthusiasm and the sheer joy of finding stuff. And that's why we all got into this hobby. It wasn't about, views. It wasn't about subscribers. It wasn't about anything else but going out and finding and enjoying the hobby. And Dixie is such a reminder of why we all started doing some of this. And that's why I love watching her channel, just for that simple fact. I mean, that's what makes it good. And Relics and Rings says, yes, right. Doesn't matter how much your detector costs. If you don't like it, it won't be a fun experience. And he's exactly right. You just pointed it out. You like that Garrett machine. You like that AT Gold. You're used to it. You're familiar with it. You know how it works. You understand the audio on it. And we talk about that all the time on here, whether it be a Garrett machine, whether it be a MindLab machine, whether it be an XP Deus machine. We talk about all those things. So definitely getting used to your machine and learning your machine is what's going to pay huge dividends. Dirt Cloud Metal Detecting says, hi, Southern Relic Adventures and Diggin Dixie. So yes, glad to have you on here. And so Dixie, you got any great permissions coming up? And do you got anything planned on the horizon as far as what you're going to be looking for?
I don't know. I just kind of wing it. Like
Yeah.
honestly, I really do. So
So, I mean,
my plan, is to get on marketplace like y'all were talking about earlier. That's my
right,
new next big plan.
right. So you learned something tonight from being on here. So
Yeah.
yeah. So, so do you go back and hunt a lot of the same spots? I mean, I know a lot of us do that, but just curious if you do the same thing.
Oh, I do, and I'm always finding stuff that I missed. I've metal detected my backyard. I don't know how many times, and I've missed so many things. Like it's crazy because you would think that it's like fished out or whatever, but it's not. I mean, it's just really not. I found some silver coins in my yard. I found, and it took me like I had been metal detecting maybe like a year, and I found an Indian head penny in my yard,
Right.
and I found a mercury dime in the woods behind my house too. That I never, yeah, I guess I had swung over it several times. So
Right. So when you're setting up your Garrett, can you tell us how you actually set it up? Do you mind sharing that information?
what do you mean as far as like discrimination and stuff?
Yeah, what do you usually run it on for the most
Well,
part?
I usually try to run my discrimination up to 40. I don't like I keep the iron audio off.
Right, right. So you're basically hunting with the iron completely knocked out.
Yeah, because I mean the areas that I hunt just they're just really old houses and
Right.
all the I don't know, all the
All the stuff that's in the ground.
nails and all that good
Yeah.
stuff. Yeah.
I get it. I get it. So Dirt Devil Detecting says, I like all my machines no matter what they cost. Thank you, Dirt Devil Detecting. Bell says, Dixie, you always make her smile.
Oh.
See, you didn't know that there are a lot of people out there that are watching you. and
Oh,
these are people on my channel too. So
I don't know why. I mean, but thank you for doing it.
oh yeah, well, again, like I said, your enthusiasm definitely comes through, and again, people love that, and it reminds us of why we all started, and where we started from. I think that's a big part of what people are seeing in your channel is they can relate. They go back to when they first started metal detecting, or they see a young female out there metal detecting and getting dirty and enjoying what she's doing and showing all those things. I think that just resonates in your channel, and that's why I think your subscribers are growing so fast. And to go along with you being a pretty young lady too, to go along with it.
I
So
wish I was young. Thank you.
yeah, you're younger than me. Let's just put it that way. So everybody's young in my eyes. So let's just go with it on that. So, so in the future, what is one of your dream finds? What is the one thing that's on your bucket list, Dixie? Tell us that.
Well, I think it's probably on everybody's, but I'd love to find a gold coin. Or, I
Right,
mean, just gold, period. I'll take any kind of gold. That would be
right.
pretty.
Well, yeah, and hey, when you find that first piece of gold, it's just like, oh my gosh, and I can remember the first piece of gold I found on the beach, but and I've never dug a gold coin either, by the way. So I can relate to most everybody in here. I've been on some places where I felt like there should be a gold coin, but that's one of those tough ones for sure. Um, Lance, I appreciate it. Lance says, History Teacher, your channel is one of the best on YouTube. Thank you so much, Lance. I do try. And I try to have good guests like Dixie on here tonight, somebody that everybody can relate to and understand. And she is awesome for being here tonight. And we really appreciate her showing up and making this a great show. Dirt Devil Detective said Dixie's attitude is infectious. You can't help but being in a better mood after watching your videos. So
Oh,
see, you're doing more than just showing finds. I mean, you're making people excited about what they're doing too. And
oh.
and
Well, thank
that's
y'all
that's
so much.
yeah, that's an awesome thing. Relics and Rings says gold is fun. Nuggets, rings, coins are all fun to find, and that's what we were just saying, Dixie. We would love to find some gold and some nuggets, rings. We'll take any type of gold,
Any
won't
of it.
we? Oh Lord, sharpshooter says, "Be careful, teach." They call me the teach. Of course, I told you I am a U.S. history teacher, so they call me the teach. And sharpshooter is one of my good friends. Check out sharpshooter's channels. He's got a lot of good stuff on the XP Deus II. Make it work. And they're talking about the update, and we're going to get to that in just a few. But again, Daredevil Detective says the only gold you don't want to dig is except gold pull tabs. So you ever dug a gold pull? Oh,
No,
I have.
I dig gold foil. I have
Right,
done
yeah,
that.
and that's even worse. I mean, that's the same thing. You dig a piece of gold foil, and you're going like, "What the heck? Wow,
Yeah.
how did I end up with gold foil?"
Yeah.
So, Bubba Smith, Louisiana is the house. Glad to have you on here, Bubba. Appreciate it so much. Whenever you hunt like a house site, um, I know you look for silver coins. What's a personal item that you found from a site?
Oh,
Something that relates to maybe the people that live there or that have lived there.
well, I did find a military button. I think it was from World War I. Um, or when I was looking it up, it looked like it was from World War I. And I love genealogy. I know I was telling you earlier
Right.
off for that. I love genealogy. So I started researching in the house, seeing who lived there. And I actually found the person who lived there at the time, and he was in the military in World War I, and his name was Milton. So I believe that I've found a button that belonged to somebody named Milton.
Right.
So I
Oh,
thought it was really cool to be able
yeah.
to find
Yeah.
that and figure out his name. So I just researching the house and
That's really cool. That's really cool. So Sonny Coley has got a question for you, Dixie. She said, Dixie, do you go detecting with family or friends? I don't use detectors. I just dig holes. She said, laugh out loud. So, and can you answer that question? Thank you, sharpshooter.
I'll go detective with anybody who will detect with me. I mean, I like going by myself because I find it peaceful, but I also love going with other people too.
Right.
So I have some cousins who go with me sometimes, and my son's girlfriend, she goes with me sometimes.
Right. Right. So, do y'all have like a competition between each other when you go out to tech with other people?
Well, I just did with Southern Relics. They're friends of mine too,
Right.
and they so I like to kind of compete with them, and you know they do this best find thing, and they have
Right.
this medallion that they pass back and forth. But I'm like, well, I'm winning in my head. I know it's between them two, but I'm winning this thing in my head.
Right.
So I'm really competitive with them because they're competitive with each other. So I like to talk
Right. You got to
smack.
get in the mix, right?
Yeah. I like
Yeah.
talking smack, saying my finds are the best.
Right.
You know, mine's just pulled out.
Well, and I do the same thing. We all do it. One of my best friends is Calabash Digger, and he and I hunted together for a long time, and that was just one of the fun things that we love to do. We love to, sort of make that make that competition in there and try to, bring out the best in each other. And it's so funny because the first person that starts talking smack, once they start talking that smack, usually it ends up backfiring on them.
It does for me. That's
Yeah, they start talking smack, and Calabash is a good example of that. Sometimes he would talk smack to me, and then all of a sudden, boom! Here I come with some unbelievable button or something that that I never found before.
or maybe I'll
So,
try to zip it because I'm the smack talker. I need to
well, you know what I always tell them? I said, look, everybody knows you don't talk smack until after the game is over with, when
I
you've
can't help
won.
myself.
That's good. That's good. So Terry Greenway says, yeah, he saw that video, Dixie. So there you go. So see, we got some people. Thank you, Michael, for the donation. Michael just recently received a T-shirt, and I'm probably going to have to get out some more T-shirts as we've been getting a lot more donations lately. And I really appreciate Michael contributing to that channel. He said those gold colored aluminum tokens will really get your attention. That's right. When you dig, didn't you dig some tokens the other day too, if I'm not mistaken? Or was,
I have dug tokens. Yeah,
yeah.
I don't know what kind they are. I've dug some good luck tokens. Some with little race cars on them. I don't even know what they're from. Some of them look like maybe Chuck E. Cheese tokens.
Right. Well, I will say this because you and I used to live in the same area. Well, you still live there, but I used to live in that area that you live in. And I was really fascinated with mill tokens. Have you ever dug a mill token?
No, but I want one bad.
Right. And I actually started collecting mill tokens from our area. Oh yeah, from that area because I love that kind of stuff, and again, the history buff in me just goes crazy with that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
So if I ever get a chance to come back up to the upstate and go metal detecting, that's one of the things I would really love to find
Oh
is
yeah.
a mill token.
I want one. I'm gonna get one.
Right, you will, you will. And for those of you that don't know what a mill token is, South Carolina was like one of the leading producers of textile mills in the entire world at one point. South Carolina, North Carolina, we produced a lot of textiles and made a lot of cloth. And a lot of these mills in this area, instead of them actually paying you, what they gave you were tokens that you could use in a company store to buy your groceries and other things that you needed. And so these mill tokens were basically people's pay. And, they're just neat because they're a piece of history that we're never going to see again. And so that's why I would love to dig a mill token. So, yeah. So there you go. You did know that though, right, Dixie?
I did. And some of the tokens actually, they were loans too. So
Right.
not like if they paid you in cash or whatever and you ran out of your money, you could get tokens as a loan. So I think some of them paid you in tokens and some of them were loans. So
Right. Right, right. So, well, the token thing is just that's always fascinated me, especially for that area. And I mean, I know where a lot of those mills were, and I'm sure you know too. But
yeah,
it's
I love. There's one metal mill hill that I metal detect a lot actually. So
right,
they actually were paid in, I guess, just currency,
right,
and but they had loonies or loans or whatever. So I want to find one of those so
right.
bad.
Well, you better let me know if you find one because I want to see it.
Okay,
Definitely, for sure. Digging
I
Daryl,
have a couple of them, but I didn't find them.
Okay, that's
Yeah.
okay. That's all right. Diggin Daryl, thank you so much. Diggin Daryl, one of our great supporters of the channel. I really appreciate the super sticker. Thank you so much. Prospectors Cash is in the house. He says howdy. And if he signals says, I found a cartwheel penny here in Rhode Island. I was freaking out. The guys in England dig them like wheat pennies. I know. Have you ever dug a 1700s coin?
Me?
Yes. No.
No, my oldest thing was the nipple protector chain.
Right. Okay. Well,
No
well,
old coins like that. So
yeah, the old coins are just fascinating. I mean, they really are. And you're going to dig one because
I hope so.
I know your area, and I'm telling you, there's a seated liberty hiding for you, especially if you're hunting some of those mill villages. I know that there's a seated liberty hiding in
I
there
hope
for you.
so.
Yeah.
So,
You're definitely going to find one. Prospector Cash, thank you so much for the donation. Really appreciate it. Again, all donations go right back to the channel. Y'all are witnessing one of those donations, which is this new $1,200 Sony ZV-E10 with a lens that costs just about as much as the camera right now. And I'm also noticing that I see a lot of things on my face that I never noticed before. So, anyway, but I appreciate the donations. Again, these are for the live streams and for our metal detecting adventure. So thank you guys so much. A lot of people are chiming in. Terry Greenway says he's dug a 1787 8 reals. Eight
wow.
reals like one of my dream coins. So yeah, that's a very, very, very nice find. Congratulations, Terry. Prospectors Cash says my goal is a 2 cent piece. Jim Pugh says his earliest coin is a 1721.
Wow.
I know. What would
That
you do if you dug a 1721?
oh my goodness. I don't know. I'd just be in disbelief probably, thinking somebody was punking me. Like
Right. You'd be doing cartwheels probably.
yeah, I'd be
Well,
like,
and you're probably still young enough to do a cartwheel.
I haven't
So
tested it in a very long time.
Dirt Devil Detecting says, I got a 1785 Vermont copper in April. I would love to dig something along that. Mason Merck says, hi, Dixie. So
Hey.
yes, we got a lot of people are glad you are here with us tonight. Sharpshooter 1784 real and about 8 Spanish bits. Thank you, Sharpshooter. Those are awesome finds. A lot of you are crushing it or have crushed it in the past. So we've got a lot of people that are finding some super, super amazing things. So I mean, I know you got the AT Garrett Gold or AT Pro Gold. What is your dream detector? If you could have any detector right now, what would be your dream detector?
Well, I had researched a lot into the Equinox 800.
Right,
Uh, looking at that, I don't know. Like I said, I'm so cheap. I haven't spent the money on it, but I
right,
need to research a little more
Okay, I get it. I get it. And the MindLab Equinox 800 is a great machine too. By the way, of course, you know that I told you this before we started. Most of the people on here are XP Deus II users,
Yeah.
which is it's a pretty expensive machine, but it's a very very good machine. And then of course we have the MindLab Manicore, which was released not too long ago. We've got the Equinox and of course, the XP Deus II, the WS6. We've got the Nocta Legend, which is a good machine. There are so many good machines. And you picked the right time to start metal detecting because there are so many different offerings at all sorts of different price points that make it real interesting for a lot of people. And maybe, getting machines that, 10 years ago, you would have never dreamed you would have had these types of machines. So that's definitely true. So Jay Strombo says the Equinox will be a great machine after an AT Gold. He said excellent. So there you go. Bubba Smith says D2 is a beast, and I would agree with Bubba Smith. I love the Deus II. Mason's Merc Metal Detecting says he uses the Legend, and I have a Legend myself, Dixie, and it's a good machine. I know you and I talked about the Legend earlier before we got on, and it is a great machine at a great price point. That's why,
Yeah.
if you're looking to make a step up from those from that AT Pro Gold, then that might be one too. Mason Merck said he found a Buffalo in a tot lot, and Michael Coley says the Xterra Pro is a great choice, Dixie, and it's only $269, but it does give you something that you won't have with your Garrett machine, and that is the ability to be able to switch frequencies, and that's huge, by the way.
Yeah.
So guys, I'm gonna let you guys. I'm gonna open the floor up for Diggin Dixie. What are some questions that any of you might have for Diggin Dixie? And I'm gonna let her take some of those questions. So go ahead and put your questions up. And if you want a question if you got a question for Diggin Dixie, go ahead and fire away. I know she will be more than happy to answer any of your questions as far as metal detecting. So Bubba Smith, I'm just going to put up some things while these guys are thinking about what they want to ask. It says from the AT Pro to the Deus II would be like going from a flip phone to a smartphone. So there you go, Dixie. That's
Well, until Daisy got hers, I really didn't know anything about a Deus or whatever. So I do need to look into those because she really likes hers. So.
right. Well, and there's a really good option in the XP metal detectors, and that's the WS6 model. And I don't know, do you do any water hunting?
No, I mean nothing underwater or anything like that. I want to one of these days, but
so I know Daisy loves to dive.
she does.
And so I don't know. You don't dive though, do you? No.
Mm-mm.
Yeah. Hey, I'm gonna tell you what, diving is expensive, by the way, too.
Yeah, I know. I don't have the equipment. I would love to go with her, but
Right. And I know we've already answered this. Mason Merck wants to know what is your best find? And I know you've already said this, but you can say it again.
Yeah, so far as the 1922 silver piece dollar.
Yeah. Okay. You said 22, right?
22. And it looks like it was lost in 1922 too.
Yeah.
It's like a perfect condition.
Yeah, silver comes out so beautiful out of the ground too to go along with that. Relic Jedi wants to know, who do you follow or watch on YouTube?
Metal detecting related
Yes,
or
probably. I'm sure he means metal detecting related.
Oh, okay. Well, I subscribe back to like a lot of y'all whenever I see somebody commenting or so I'll subscribe back. So I watch a lot of y'all's videos too, like Mason Merck. I watch their videos,
Right.
Yeah.
So hey, if you want Dixie to subscribe to your channel, go leave a comment on her channel. Definitely.
Yeah.
And subscribe to her channel. Okay.
Yeah.
Terry Greenway says, Dixie, you need to smile more. They love your smile. Very good. Ricky
Oh,
Bennett says, Dixie, what do you think about Garrett Apex and have you ever used one?
I have not used one. That's their multi-frequency, right?
Right.
Okay. So I did look into those and it's not waterproof. So I do like being able to go into creeks and stuff, like not diving, of course, but like,
Right.
I like being able to take it into the river and just wade in the water
Right.
and I would
Sure.
be scared to do that with the Apex since it's not fully waterproof. Um,
Right. So, and I know you live near Lake Hartwell. So, have you ever been metal detecting in Lake Hartwell?
no, I
No,
haven't.
you
Mm-mm.
haven't. Okay. All right. Okay. Let's see here. Let's see. We got some more. David Frazier says, yeah, or Mason Merck says, yay, thanks for watching us, Dixie. Very good. Mason Merch says Dixie's doing great with her Garrett. Only a matter of time before they want to sponsor her. Right. So you never know. And like I said, this channel gets a lot of views from some metal detecting manufacturers. So you never know. You never know. So that would be good. I'd love to see Dixie with a maybe eventually a multi-frequency machine. So let's hope that happens for her.
I
Yes.
mean, I'm not throwing shade on Garrett because I love Garrett, but I
Right.
do wish that it was waterproof. That's
Right,
the only thing
exactly.
about that Apex.
Right, exactly. And there are some good options in waterproof detectors. You mentioned one, the Equinox, which the Equinox just came out with a new line too, the 700 and 900, which I think would be great machines for you. And the Legend, also waterproof, would be a great machine for you. The WS6 and the XP metal detectors, if you got a waterproof pouch, you could hunt in the water with it. So that's another option for you. And again, the Apex is not. So, I mean, so when you go to waterproof, you are going to pay a little bit more. But Michael brought up a good point. The Mind Lab Xterra Pro is a waterproof machine, and it's got the orange backlight to it, and you can change frequencies. So, I mean, you can hunt in the water with it, and it's only $269, Dave, Dixie.
That I didn't know that. Like I
Yeah.
didn't I see I need to do a lot of research. I wish I had more time to do that.
I'm going to show you one because I have one here. So you can actually see it. I apologize here for just a minute. But here is the Mind Lab machine, which I'm trying to get the screen. There we go.
Okay.
So that's the Xterra Pro. This is a $269 waterproof machine. It comes stock with a 12-inch coil. The only thing you would really need are headphones, which are a problem right now for this machine. The neat thing about this machine is the waterproof capability of it, but it's just a really, really, really cool machine. And but there it is. That's the Xterra Pro.
Yeah, and you said it's backlit. So that's
Yeah,
another benefit over the Garrett,
right.
honestly,
Yeah,
over
it is.
my AT. Because it's
Right.
not backlit and it doesn't have the light underneath either.
Well,
Like,
this one and this one even has the. I'm gonna turn this on and show it to you. But anyway, so there you go.
oh
Look at
yeah.
that.
Hmm. Yeah, that's nice because it's difficult to use this at night.
And it's compact. It's even got a. Let's make it going crazy. But it's even got a vibrating handle on it.
Okay.
So when you get over a target, it vibrates. It's just
Vibrate. Cool.
yeah, it's really cool. And again, you can adjust the frequencies on this. Now, if you were hunting you can hunt on the beach with this, and that's the major selling feature of this machine, is that you can hunt on the beach. I'm gonna cut it off, but you can hunt on the beach with it, and for $269,
Yeah.
that's a heck of a deal.
Yeah, I think so too. I mean, people are always like messaging saying, "What kind of metal detector do you recommend? What do you think that I should get?" And honestly, like I don't know enough about what's out there. So,
Right. Yeah, and again, you know, I've talked to a couple of friends about this too. You know, not everybody's into the machine part. They just want to go out and they just want to hunt. You know, they just want to go hunt. You know, it's not necessarily
Yeah.
about the machine. It's just
Yeah.
about finding. And I get it because I'm that guy too, to a certain extent. You know, I really didn't get into the machine part until later on after I've been detecting for a while, and then I realized, oh my gosh, look at all these different things that are out here.
Yeah.
And so it's sort of like an evolution. You evolve into those sort of things over a period of time, and you know, you'll eventually maybe start going that way. But you may say, "Hey, I'm not worried about what machine I'm using. I'm just worried about finding stuff," and that's
Yeah.
great,
Give me the treasure. That's
right?
all.
Yeah, exactly. Um, so yeah, and there's a lot of good comments. It's really good to take steps. AT Gold, Equinox 900, then XP, learning steps and understand all the things you don't have with the gold. That's right. You know, right now you're doing great with that gold, and you understand that machine, and so you know use it right. Jim Pugh says my buddy loves his Xterra Pro. He has not picked up the Deus II since he got it. So yeah, there you go. So that's that's a big compliment there, that Jim, if he's picking up that Xterra. But the Xterra is a good machine. It's pretty lightweight too, with a 12-inch coil that comes with it. The only thing you need is headphones. You know, unfortunately, my lab doesn't have those headphones right now. Alabama Digger says, I have the Knox 800, AT Pro, Deus 1, Deus 2. My AT Pro is the only one I water hunt with. But if I ever learn to dive, the Deus 2 is going to get wet. So there, see, so there's a lot of people out there that are agreeing with you as far as the Garrett. Um, Terry Greenway says he still has his 800. He says good machine. What's up, Tool Gardner? Yes, Detecting Clay, who's one of my affiliates. We were talking about affiliates earlier, but Detecting Clay is one of my affiliates. He does have some of those machines. If you're interested, you can look him up. So a Deus 2, an AT Gold, an AT Pro, a MindLab Equinox, an Xterra Pro, whatever it is, I promise you, Detecting Clay can get it for you. So there's our plug for Detecting Clay for tonight. Mason Merck says, I'm going to have to get an Xterra Pro. Mason always wants to use my Equinox over his Nocta Legend. Right. So, yeah, you see. So there are a lot of people that understand. Jim Pugh says, my Nox 600 is cheap and easy to use. I agree. Nox 600 is an excellent machine. Aaron Solomon, I love my Xterra Pro. The VDI is a little jumpy. I just got my Manicore a week ago, so I'm learning it now. Manicore, one of the top machines right now, just came out. Sharpshooter saying, Manicore users, be aware and stay tuned because there's some stuff coming for the Manicore. Have you ever seen a Manicore, Dixie? No. Yeah, it's a beast of a machine, literally and figuratively. It's a beast of a machine, but very good machine. Diggin SoCal says 800 is my go-to. MindLab says some leak in water, which we've heard that. Wisco Detect, glad to have you in here. He had his son's graduation tonight from the 8th grade. Is that right, Wisco? So you got to take care of business. You don't have to worry about us. You go take care of business with your family. Prospector Cash says Deus 2 is a beast. Mason Merck says, I never use headphones because Mason talks my ear off all day and the sounds keep the black bears away. So I'm assuming he lives in the mountains. I don't know. Black bears? I don't know. Where do you live at, Mason Merck? That would be interesting. Prospector Cash says, I'm mostly water. I'm a water hunter using the Deus 2. Awesome. Yes, Bells, thank you so much. Please hit that like button for Dixie and I. Glad to have Dixie on board. All those likes help with that algorithm. You guys know the drill. Hit that like button. If you're not already subscribed, please subscribe. And we'll put up our yes. And go check out my girl here, Dixie. She is awesome. And we're so happy to have her in the house tonight. Aaron Solomon says, TN Sharpshooter, does that mean I need to get a laptop soon for an update? Sharpshooter knows, so listen to him when it comes to the update for the Manicore, which might be coming soon. Dirt Devil Detecting. I got to try my Manicore a couple of weeks ago. Different animal from Nocta and XP products. Definitely Dirt Devil Detecting, and I have experienced that firsthand. Stink Ass Cat 900 Equinox is a good machine. I think, to me, it's one of the best Mind Lab machines. I like it right now, maybe even a little better than the Manicore. If any of you guys, for what it's worth. So there you go. If Mind Lab fixes the iron on the Manicore, it will be good. David Frazier, Dixie, this is for you. Take the time to learn your favorite machine. It takes 50 to 100 hours. And I know you've got well over 100 hours on that AT Gold. I'm sure you have.
Oh, yeah.
So Diggin SoCal, right. Diggin SoCal says, hey, Dixie, I've subbed to your channel. There you go, Dixie.
Thank you.
Yes, Dixie does have a YouTube. It is Diggin Dixie. So go check her out on YouTube, guys. I'm telling you, it's a lot of fun. She's enthusiastic. She loves what she's doing. So go check out her channel for sure. Jim Pugh says, still got mine, not for sale, his AT Pro. AT Pro was a great machine. And the AT Gold's just, just a one step above with the frequencies and things with the AT Gold. But I had an AT Pro. I started with one, and I loved that machine. It was a great machine. Let's see here. Blasted Cat. Thank you, Blasted Cat. Jump on that like button, folks. It's easy. Hit that like button. For Dixie and I, we're out here spending our Thursday night with you guys and answering questions. So Dixie, what do you, I know I've asked this before, but what do you have planned for the future? I mean, what's one of the ultimate goals that you want to get out of metal detecting?
Treasure.
Treasure.
I don't really have like a whole lot of plans. I mean, I kind of just, Southern Relics and Daisy and my dad too pushed me to make a channel. So I didn't really have any goals or anything with my channel either. I just started recording it,
Right.
and then, like, kind of regretted that I didn't have all of those moments where I found my very first, silver coin and, very first piece of like costume jewelry. Like, I hated that I didn't have those after I made my channel. I'm like, God, I wish I had those, like, recording of those. Because when I found that Walk in Liberty, I found it in my backyard, and my husband likes to tell this story,
right,
where he had just told me that, I don't think people buried money like you think people buried money. And he's like, I just don't think that you're going to find anything. So, like, a few minutes goes by and he's in his building, and he said that all he heard was just screaming. Like, I don't even remember, honestly. But he said that I was just sitting there with a big old hole in front of me and my legs out in front of me, holding a Walk in Liberty.
Why? Yeah, a Walk in Liberty.
And it was still in the little, it was like in a little plastic thing, but it had dry rotted, obviously. The plastic sleeve had dry rotted, but it was still in the sleeve. So he was like, well, I guess somebody had to bury it there since it was.
Yeah, exactly.
After he said, I don't think anybody buried money like you think they buried money.
Yeah. So you showed him, right? There was money out there buried, right?
Yeah.
So I remember when I dug my first Walk in Liberty, they had torn down an old building that had caught fire in my hometown. And I went in there and I actually dug my first Walk in Liberty. It was a 1926 Walk in Liberty. And those, to me, those memories stick with you.
Right.
When you find some of those things that's so special. And I know you probably did this too. When you go back to a site, you remember exactly where you found those particular items.
Absolutely.
Like,
did you have that on camera when you found your first Walk in Liberty?
I know that was before I was into YouTube like you. So I do not have my Walk in Liberty find on camera. And I was actually using a Mind Lab E-Track at that point. So yeah, I remember that just like it was yesterday. And like this past week, Michael Coley, who's on here, he went out hunting with me. He drove 3 hours just to go hunting with me from North Carolina, and I took him to some of my spots, and I go, oh yeah, I remember I dug that right there, and I dug that right there. I can remember every single spot where I dug every single one of those targets that were special to me, you know. And
Mhm.
that's what's so fun about some of this stuff, is that you do remember those types of things.
Oh yeah.
Yes. So Terry Greenway says Walking Liberty is one of his favorite. He's dug two recently. But you know what? I have not dug one since that first one.
Yeah, I only have the one.
Yeah, that's the way and I dug that in 2014 or 13. So it was just after I first started. But again, and I know I talked about this off camera, was I sort of got away from hunting yards and hunting parks and those types of things, and I've gone strictly to the historical side of it, which I really love. And so that's probably why. But every now and then I'll have a Mercury dime pop up, and I have a barber or something like that, but I have never dug another Walking Liberty, which is, just like you dug that peace dollar, I've never dug a peace dollar.
I'll probably never dig another one.
Yeah, well, you never know.
I'll
You never
remember it
know.
forever.
Yeah. Um, Bell said, Dixie, if that was in a plastic sleeve, it could have been a Silver Eagle 1 ounce. Do you know? I don't know.
I don't
Yeah.
know.
Yeah. And Bells might know. You might want to take a picture. I don't know if there's any identifying marks. I'm not that into those particular coins. So, um,
I don't think
this-
it's an ounce of silver. It doesn't weigh as much as the peace dollar, I don't think. It's not
right, right. Dirt Devil Detective says, we walk over those huge signals saying, no way I'm digging something that big. Probably a huge silver coin hoard buried in mason jars sitting all together. And look, I learned a very valuable, and I could have had another Walking Liberty. Or you said a standing Liberty though, right? Or was it a walk?
mine was a walk-in
Yeah,
Liberty.
okay. So I could have had another Walking Liberty. And I was out at a plantation site, and I swung over something. It was right by a telephone pole, and there was a wire coming down from the side of the telephone pole. And I swung over and I go, oh man, that's that wire. I was so close to it. And I said, I'm not digging that. And so I walked away from it, and my buddy that was hunting with me, he goes, hey, do you know there's a signal right here by this pole that you just walked over? And I said, yeah. I said, that's probably that wire, that's a cable that was holding the pole up. And I didn't dig it. And so he dug it. And sure enough, it was a Walking Liberty. And I missed it. No, that's the way it usually works, though. Definitely. Jay Strombo says, Dixie, buried money is a thing. I sent Iffy a pic of stash in my town, 1,700 stash.
Oh my God.
Oh my Lord. Yeah,
Wow.
I would definitely freak out if I dug something
Mhm.
like that. So yeah, it's a big stash of coins. And we hear stories about people burying money in mason jars and all that kind of stuff, and we're like going, that's just hearsay. But it does happen. I think the huge amount of gold coins that were found in California were basically, I think they were buried in a mason jar too, by the stump of, or by the base of a tree. And you never know. And that's the great thing about this hobby. You never really know what's going to happen. So, any other questions for Dixie? And I'm gonna let her go because I know she might not want to hear all the XP Deus II talk, but we'll talk about the update for a few more minutes before we sign off. But if any of you have questions, one last time for Dixie, and I'm gonna let her go because I know she's got things to do, and I know she's probably got a busy work schedule coming up, I'm sure too. So if y'all have got a question, go ahead and pass that along. Yeah. Yeah. Somebody said, Brian, I would have cried. They're talking about me
Oh
missing
yeah.
Mark Walton Liberty. Yeah. um, Surfside Dan says, I've dug 2 Civil War plates that were overloads on my machine, because sometimes those signals, you're just like going, there's no way that's a big can, whatever it may be. Jay Strombo says, get the Equinox Dixie. There you go. Wisco Detect says, thanks, Dixie, for being here tonight. We really appreciate you showing up and being a part of our community tonight. And hopefully some of these guys have gone back and subscribed to your channel and are going to be big supporters and followers of you. They said, thank you, Dixie. Again, thanks, Dixie. Michael Coley, have a good night, Dixie. Diggin Canuck says, good evening, everyone. She just joined in, but I think she just had a show. So we're glad to have her in here after, or she's getting ready to start a show soon. Relish and Ring says, thanks, Dixie. Yes. Hey, Liz. That's Iffy talking to Diggin Canucks. And Bill's Adventures says, yes, a fun interview. And I knew you would be. Guys, she was so nervous, and I told her there's nothing to be nervous about. I said there's nothing to be nervous about. We have fun on here. We talk about all things metal detecting, detectors, everything, and we just have a good time. So we really appreciate you being here.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you for agreeing to come on. And guys, one more time, if you haven't already, hit that like and subscribe for Dixie. We're going to continue our conversation for about another 10 or 15 minutes. We're going to be talking about the XP Deus II update. And Dixie, you're more than welcome to stay on. I just didn't know if you wanted to hear all the technical going back and forth for the next few minutes.
Well, I'll stay tuned into the live.
Okay. Well, we're gonna run and you can listen in with us too. But a lot of the people that are on here are XP Deus II users, and we just recently got an update to our machine that we update through through our computers, and a lot of people are just really, they want to know all the information about this. So I'm going to start with talking about what I have seen, and Michael Coley is on here. Michael hunted with me again, like I told you guys on Monday, and we were using the 1.10 update. So I'm going to show you a sort of quick video clip, and then I'm going to come back. I might fast forward through it because I know it's sort of long, but it is me using the 1.10 update and me sort of showing you what this thing did on this really pounded site. Now, Calabash and I have been on this site. We've hunted this site multiple times, and it is the lot, which you guys have heard me talk about, which is near my house. It is a 1700s plantation. It's been hunted for the last 4 years. All types of detectors have been over it. Surfside Dan can attest to this place too. It is a site that has been pounded by a bunch of different machines. The Manicore, the Deus II, the Deus I, the Equinox, all have been on this site over the last 4 years. And here I come with the 1.10 update. And guys, what you're going to see in this video was astounding to me. I was using the 13-inch coil on this site. And I'm telling you, there's something to these bigger coils in heavy iron. And so what you're going to see is me actually digging a target with the 13-inch coil. I'm running the WS6, and I was just amazed. I've been amazed. And Michael Coley, who's on here, can attest to what I did with this machine on Monday on Memorial Day. So we're going to put this up. I want you guys to watch the first part. I may fast forward because I don't want you to have to, because it is 7 minutes long, but I'm going to shorten it. So, but I'm going to put this up, let you guys see this fine and what this machine was doing under the 1.10 update. So let's
86, 85, 84, 82. We are using the big 13-inch coil and the 1.1 update, and we're running him fast. So we're running fast pitch and high square audio. And we're going to see what this is. And this could be a piece of iron. which I think that's what it's going to be. Could be a big piece of iron that's causing it to faults like that, but we'll see. Yeah, it sounds really loud. So that makes me think, and the signal's not necessarily the best in the world either. So we're gonna get out whatever this is. Let's see what we got here. I think.
And guys, watch what comes out of this.
Right here.
Watch what comes out of this hole.
You know what? Look at that. Look at that, guys. That old brick. Nice old piece of brick right there. Hiding out in the soil. But 13-inch. And we're gonna see what's hiding in here. See if we got it out. No. Huh. Let's see if it's still in there. Not in there. Let's see what we got down here. And I don't have my pinpointer with me. There it is. Is that a piece of... No, that's a piece of brick. See if we can... There's a nail. I wonder if it was that nail.
All right, so I didn't have my pinpointer. Let me tell you why I didn't have. I was so excited about going and using this machine that I had just gotten out of the truck and I had left my pinpointer in the truck. Yeah, that's how excited I was about trying this out because I had seen great results from it earlier on Monday. This was actually done yesterday. And so I didn't have I had to walk back to my truck. So I'm going to fast forward through me walking back to my truck. And you guys are going to get to see what it actually was.
It's biting me.
Here I come back to my truck. And I was getting tore up by mosquitoes at this point too, by the way.
84.
Stutter. I'm going to fast forward a little bit more.
Guys, I think we got a button. Oh, wow. We do have a button. Look at there. Oh, my goodness. Is there something on this button? It's got some design on it. But that's exactly what it is.
All right, so I know that thing is stuttering a little bit, and I got Dixie still in here with me. So basically, what I was seeing was the 13-inch coil in heavy iron. I've never thought about doing that before, and so I was running fast. I was running pitch. I was running the max frequency at 24 on this machine. I was running a reactivity of 3, and I was running high square tones. And I picked this target out of iron. And of course, the video was stuttering a little bit, so that's why I cut it off. But and you can watch the full video when I put it up after this live stream's over with. But there was actually a nail in there with that button. And I'm going to actually show you guys what that actually looks like. Now, I'm not really sure if it's a button, so I will say that right off the bat, but I'm going to add this up to the stream. So there it goes. So you guys can see that. But the whole thing is that I have gone over this site for the last 4 years, And that thing, y'all heard how loud it was. And the WS6 doesn't have an external speaker. So y'all heard how loud it was coming through my headphones. But it is a piece of brass. And I'm not real sure if it's a furniture. It could possibly be a furniture piece, and so on. So, yeah, you guys can see that. I don't know if you can see it or not. Everybody see it? Yeah. But anyway, that sort of showed me that we were doing something a little bit different with that 13-inch coil. Yeah, it does look like a button. I'm not real sure what it is, but it's button size. It's about the size of a quarter, and that 13-inch coil. I mean, I'm really amazed by that. And there are a couple of videos that are out there right now showing that 13-inch coil using the 1.10 update, and it's unmasking better, guys, for some reason. And there were some videos that were put up today and yesterday that basically are showing how this works. Dixie, have you ever used a big coil on that machine that you have? Yeah.
No, I haven't.
Right.
It's
So
just a really small one.
right. So this coil is a pretty big coil, and I've got it right here in front of me. But here it is. You guys can see. Yes, this thing is massive. And for it to unmask and iron the way that it did was something that I never thought was going to happen. I didn't expect a big coil to go into heavy iron and be able to unmask targets on a site that I had pounded. And Michael was with me. I went to 3 other sites that I had already hit, and every single one of those sites produced non-ferrous targets, including a button, including a thimble. In fact, 2 thimbles, 3 thimbles we actually dug. And I've already been over those sites. Those sites have been hunted for the last 3 or 4 years. And this machine went into those sites and unmasked those targets using a big 13-inch coil. And I was using the WS6. I was using the 1.10 update. And I just told you the settings: fast, pitch tones, high square audio, reactivity of 3, max frequency at 24, discrimination at 6.8. And I went into those sites and I was able to pick those targets out of those sites with a 13-inch coil, something that I've never been able to do before until now. So my question to all of you guys is, what do you guys think? Has anybody seen the same thing? And does anybody have that 13-inch coil and they're seeing the same results with this new update? That's my question to each and every one of you. I'm seeing great results with this. And I've used it 3 times already using the 13-inch coil. And I never would have done this if it hadn't been for Michael actually sending me a video that actually showed a guy showing some unmasking capabilities of this 13-inch coil. So what's going on here? Yes, I'm telling you, the 13-inch coil might be the one that we really needed more than the 9-inch. And I know that my buddy Calabash put up a video showing how the 9-inch unmasked better than the 6-inch coil, like with the 5x9 that we had for the Deus I. And I know that the Equinox coil with that 6-inch coil, we've shown how it doesn't necessarily unmask as good as what we thought. But did we miss something along the way? And is that 13-inch coil that much better in iron? And we didn't realize it. We just never did that because we were always told that big coils can't unmask. So I'm curious as to what you guys think about that. Terry Greenway says, been finding items in heavy iron using the 11-inch coil, reactivity at 1.5 and the 1.0 update. And again, I think the 11-inch coil unmasked better than what we thought too. I used an 11-inch with the Equinox, and I did not see the unmasking capabilities that I'm seeing with this Deus II. I know that the 11-inch and now the 13-inch are unmasking in iron better than what I saw with that Equinox by a long shot. So there's something going on here, and I don't know if it's the update or whether it's just something that I completely overlooked over a period of time. So, Diggin Daryl says the 11 by 13 coil is working really good with new version. And Diggin Daryl, that's what I'm seeing too. And I'm curious if you guys have tried this too and tried to use a 13-inch coil to unmask an iron, because there's something going on here, or I feel like there is. And my buddy Michael can tell you, he saw me dig the majority of these targets in places that had just been pounded. And I went in there with this 13-inch coil, and all of a sudden I'm digging targets again. But of course, a 13-inch coil had never been on this site before. And Sharpshooter, who's on here right now, says that you got to hunt with all these different coils. But I don't know. This is just something that's really got me. I've never been so amazed than what I saw on Monday. Jay Strombo says it's just about nail placement in the ground. 15-inch on the Equinox does the same thing. 9 inches is your best bet all day long, nail placement. And Jay, I agree with you. I mean, I do believe it's nail placement, but I also watched a video today where the nail placement was placed on the far outside. But then when you got all the nails close on top of a target, all of a sudden the 13-inch coil was able to unmask. And I don't get that. I'm not. I mean, I would have never thought that, not in a million years. Jim Pugh says it was an awesome rig. Waited a long time. Get mine very deep. Need to get a bigger shovel. I agree with these, definitely, for sure. Phoebe Samba, Team Instagram says, well, I used Deus II in 25 by 25 1.1 version, and I hit that spot hard. And then to my surprise today, I brought the Equinox 800 with a 6-inch coil today. Exact spot. The Deus II missed a lot of targets. Well, if you were using the 9-inch coil, then you might have. I don't know. So I'm just telling you, I'm seeing something different with this 13-inch coil that I never expected to see with the Deus II. So, for whatever that's worth to anybody, I'm just telling you something is going on here, and it is something that has got me sort of just shocked, really, more so than anything. Michael Coley says, yes, it was pretty impressive. Jay said it will depend on the situation of ferrous and non-ferrous under the coil. And I agree with all of that, guys. I totally agree with that. But I'm telling you, I've used the 9, I've used the 11, and the 13 all of a sudden is going back into sights, and it's unmasking in heavy iron. So I understand that. But why didn't I hit it with the 9-inch? Why didn't I hit it with the 11-inch? I mean, to me, there's just something going on here. When you and Calabash started the live shows, I was bragging then how well the 13-inch coil was working. Just need to spend time with the 1.1. Well, Andrew Paul, you might have been on to something, and I'm apparently Calabash and I missed it, at some point. So, Dixie, what do you think about all this? You want to comment?
I mean, I'm pretty impressed about how clean your coil was when you showed that to the camera.
Oh yeah.
There was no scratches on it, and I'm like, ooh, I don't know what mine would look like if I.
Well, but here's the thing: I only use that coil on the beach because, and it's like I'm telling these guys right here, I bought that coil as a beach coil. Okay, and it just came out at the end of last year. So it really hasn't had a lot of time on even on the beach. And so I never thought I would use it to relic hunt with. And then all of a sudden I took it out and I started relic hunting with it. And now I'm digging targets on sites that I'd already hunted. I'd pounded those sites for 4 years. And you go into a site and all of a sudden you're digging targets. I mean, that just makes you, that makes you shake your head like, what the heck is happening here? And kudos to XP. It could be this update. It could be me neglecting the 13-inch coil. It could be like what these guys are saying. It could be the arrangement of the nails. But I know how hard those sites have been hunted, and I know who they've been hunted by. And I know that those targets were still in there. And I don't know that I would have found them with the 9-inch coil. That's what I'm trying to say right now. But yeah, we need to get the Manicore in there after the update. Oh, Dan, don't be Manicoring me right now.
I'd be interested to see though.
Yeah, it will be interesting to see. So yeah, but we've already hunted it with the Manicore. Dan
Oh,
has
okay.
hunted the same spot where I just dug that button. He's hunted that site with me, and he's saying right there, the Manicore maybe if it has an update, maybe it will be better. But the Manicore has been in there, and he saw what I dug with the Deus II out of there as well. Yeah, Terry Greenwood, we'll have to start welding again to buy the 13-inch coil. I'm not saying that this is the end all to be all, but what I am saying is there's something to this bigger coil for whatever that's worth. Belle says, hey, Dixie, are you ready to get a Deus II? She loves hers.
I mean, I'm saying I'm about to pick up some shifts at work. I guess I need to.
There you go. Well, and one thing too, the Deus II is the lightest metal detector made.
Really?
Even with that 13-inch coil, we're talking about a machine that only weighs 2.6 pounds with the WS6 configuration. That's a very light machine. That's lighter than what you got right now,
Yeah.
by the way. And that's with a 13-inch coil. That's with a huge coil. Jim Pugh says double D coil is like windshield wiper footprint and very good in solid mineralized ground. And Jim Pugh, that's part of my thinking too, that it has something to do with the coil and it being a double D versus the others, being concentric coils. So I don't know. Diggin Canuck says, I know you wouldn't, Diggin Canuck. I promise you, if you set it up in the WS6 version, I mean, Dixie, this is something too that you need to see. You see this? Look at that. That's that little puck. Okay? This puck comes off. That's the guts of your machine, basically. You can take that and you can put that in your pocket. And now you can hunt without that even on it. So now all you're hunting with is the coil and the shaft. That's it. You don't have a big battery. The battery in this thing is nothing.
Okay.
Yeah. So
that's basically this. Is that what you're saying?
That's exactly right.
Okay.
Yeah. So you get this combination, you've got a really lightweight machine. So yeah, Dan says, remember I found a button. He did find a button, and I found a lock key cover. But Dan, I went back in there and dug another button after I went the previous time before and dug 4 more buttons with the 9-inch coil. There's been over 100 and something buttons dug off of this one site. It's a plantation site. And we've dug over 100 and something buttons off of this site over the last 4 years. And, to go back in there and dig something again, and I dug more than just that. That was just one thing. I dug a dime, I dug a penny, I dug a piece of copper piping, which was about the size of that, all in that same site using the 13-inch coil. So yeah, I don't know. That's why I'm trying to find out. Yes, it's not that heavy if you toss the coil cover. I don't think I'm going to take the coil cover off though. So if you already have the 11, would you go for the 13 over the 9? And that's a great question. Somebody asked me that today. I think if I had to pick 2 coils at this point, it might be the 13 and the 9-inch. And I would skip the 11. But I've got all 3, and I'm fortunate enough that XP's been nice enough to send those coils to me. But what I'm saying is the 13-inch, if I had to pick 2 right now, it might be the 13 and the 9-inch. For whatever that's worth to you guys. Relics and Rings says 11-inch coil in the Equinox has always been better in iron than smaller coil, in my honest opinion. Could be the same with the Deus II. Well, I had the 11-inch coil on the Equinox, and I did not find that to be the case. It was just too many signals. The machine was overwhelmed. The reactivity wasn't as good as I would have liked for it to have been with the Equinox 800 using it in iron. So, but the 11-inch does perform well. Michael Coley did use that on this site the other day with me, and he saw that I was doing really, really well with the 13, and he was using the 11-inch coil. Yeah, Terry Greenway says, Dixie, when you get old, he said lighter is better. So there you go. Yes, Ohio Fred says WS6 Master, cheapest way to go for a Deus II. So true. And, again, people underestimate the WS6. It's just such a good machine. And I apologize if I missed some comments because I know that there's a lot of you putting in comments. Teach, he says, in super heavy iron like a cellar hole, even your 13-inch won't help. I've heard this before. Jay, I mean, I've heard it too. I mean, Calabash has basically preached to me that this big coil, you shouldn't use a big coil in a heavy loaded iron sight. But I'm telling you, Jay, there's something different going on here. And I can't put my fingers on it. I can't tell you exactly what it is, but I can tell you that it can unmask better than what I thought. Now, how much better, I don't know, but I'm telling you, both of these sites have been strongly hit over a 4-year period. And the 13-inch coil went in there and found stuff. So, for whatever that's worth, I'm not saying that all we need to do is go out and buy 13-inch coils. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying that I'm noticing something different. So for whatever that's worth to you guys. I traded my 11-inch for a 9-inch, and I'm thrilled. At FE Signals, WS, and we said this already. Yes, killer setup too, Ohio with the new update, definitely. Yes, Jay Strongbow says the 9 and the 13-inch. Yeah, that might be the way to go. Just skip the 11 altogether. But the 11 and 13, and I have said this before, I believe that the 11 and the 13-inch coil are about the same as far as depth, maybe a little bit more to the 13 than the 11, but really close. So we'll see. Surfside Dam said Savannah Harps. Hopefully I will see soon. Weather has not been in favor of our beach pretty. That's true. Yeah. And Surfside Dam's exactly right about our beaches. Alabama Digger says you need to have a machine set up with the 9-inch so you can compare and see if one does or doesn't hit it. Right. And Sharpshooter and I have talked about this, and he may still be on here, and he's heard me talk this, and I've told him what I've been seeing over this last week and a half with this 1.1 update, and maybe he can do a comparison. He doesn't have a 13-inch coil. I do, so maybe I do need to do a comparison. We'll see. All right. But anyway, I wanted to bring up some of that stuff. Prospector Cash says 11 by 13 will find things the 9-inch misses, but the 9-inch coil will find things that, and I agree. I think. But what I am saying is that the 11 by 13 is also unmasking better than I've seen in any other big coil, for whatever that's worth. Again, Jim Pugh says, I got my 13 when you need me. Bring my shovel. Yes, I'm deadly with the 9, but the 13 covers ground fast. Jay Strombo says, I have a 13. Hoping Deus gets the small elliptical soon. And you know what? And I've had this conversation too. I don't even know that we need a small elliptical. The 9 might do just as well as the 5x9, but I know some people are addicted to the smaller coils, and if that's the case, then go for it. But I do think that the 9 does very, very well. Jay Strombo says I use this a 13 for coverage on rare occasions when I do a field, and that's what I bought mine for a field and for beach. Never dreamed I'd be using it on a heavy infested iron site. And now I'm using it on a heavy infested iron site. So for whatever that's worth. 9-inch is great for cellar holes. Take it right off the stem. Go to long sides of rock walls as well. Never know where there's things hiding. And if he's right, you can use the 9-inch. The 9-inch is versatile. You can use it for so many things. Elliptical with higher frequency, definitely the way to go. So, Dixie, what do you think about all this talk?
A lot of it is over my head. But
these guys love their Deus II machines, and you can see, you can see the stuff that is coming through. But again, we all have our certain things that we're really into, and the majority of the people that are on this channel are real. They're really into their Deus II, and they want to know how to use it, how to set it up, what's the best settings, what are some of those things that they can use to help improve their finds. Again, we talked about finds earlier, and this is the way that we do it. We share information on here with each other to try to figure out what are some of the best things that we can do with these machines. And that's what this channel is mainly about in a lot of ways. Let's see here. Carson Chris says, hey guys, off topic, just got June the silver 38 Merc and a key with it. All right. Very good, Carson Chris.
Awesome.
Congratulations, buddy. We're back. Hey, look, so see, we came back. I love my Garrett AT Gold with its stock coil. It's just about the right size for the trashy areas I live in. So how hard is the trash up in your area? I mean, do you hunt a lot of trashy parks or a lot of the places fields, or, I mean, do you find your ground to be open?
Well, I will hunt it all. I mean,
yeah.
But I went to one of the mills like you were talking about, and
Right.
it was torn down, and I found it to be like so trashy. It was overwhelming.
Right.
But I do agree with Gary that, the coil that it comes with, it is pretty good at filtering out trash. So
Right. I had a 6x9 coil with my AT Pro. Do you have the smaller coil for that machine?
yeah, it comes with a smaller one than the Pro. So,
Oh, okay. All right. Cool.
Look at this dirty thing.
Yeah. Look, that's a good sign. That means it's being used. Just like you just saw my coil that hadn't been used, and now all of a sudden I realized I should have been using it. So yeah, that's a good sign.
So yeah, that's to me a lot smaller than the AT Pro coil.
Right. Somebody says, how come I have no option for PWM and high square and sensitive full tones? That's a good question. I have Prospector Cash. I'm gonna be honest with you. I have not tried. I know a lot of people I have used sensitive full tones, but I have not tried to change that. But it should be there. High square should definitely be there, and PWM. Do you know? I know you know how to get to it, but double check that. You should be able to get to that. So, and if not, I'm sure somebody on here can tell you. Diggin Canuck says that she loves the 6x9 on the AT Pro. There you go. Gary Hull says, no, my town is burnt down twice and been bulldozed over and hunt around old houses. So you're definitely dealing with a lot of trash. Relic Jedi says dirt is character. That's right. So see, y'all, that dirt on your metal detector, that's character, right? The 13-inch coil is a beast in the water, is smooth and glides like a stingray on the Deus II. So Phoebe Samba Team, Instagram, YouTube. Boy, that's a long name. But they're agreeing with the 13-inch, especially with the Deus II. So let's see here. It says, I had that coil for mine in the pack in the Garrett backpack. Great coil. Again, the AT Pro or AT Gold coil. Not sure why, but the last few weeks it won't let me send stickers. I don't know, but you're more than welcome to send a sticker, Carson Chris. I would appreciate it. He says, I have those options for PWM and high square on other programs, but not sensitive full tones. When sensitive full tones, I know, and Sharpshooter may be on here. Sensitive full tones, you know, naturally you can select those tones, but I thought you could be able to select the audio too. But Prospector's Cache, I have not done that yet. So I might be able to do it. Are you using a WS6 or are you doing a remote? I'm curious, but we'll get back to that. Surfside Dan says Garrett would sell more machines if they could get rid of the camo guy and have Dixie instead. There you go, Dixie.
I agree with that.
So yeah, they need you for a sponsor.
I'm kidding.
And they need to come out with a new machine.
Yes, a waterproof one. So
that's right, a waterproof multi-frequency machine made by Garrett. That's not the Ace Apex.
I don't know what they're waiting on. Like,
yeah, well, that's a good question. I think a lot of people have that same question too, Dixie, for sure. Phoebe Samba Team, Instagram, YouTube. Check it out. Thanks for the info, Sharpshooter. Thanks for everything you do. Sharpshooter's, I thought he was on here, but I think he's jumped off. Yeah, Michael Coley says you can use all 3 tones and sensitive full tones, which I thought so, Michael, but Prospector's Cash had me guessing. But I haven't really tried. I hadn't really messed with sensitive full tones since the update. So again, apparently you can, Prospector's Cash, according to everybody on here. I had the same problem. I had it, but it quit. All other settings work as they should. Yeah, you guys need to definitely, you might even want to try to re-update if you're not seeing those options, because those options should be there. So you might want to try to do that. That's right. And if he said the same thing. Cash, he said, have you tried updating again, both the controller and the headphones? Sometimes that causes problems. So definitely. But I was pretty sure that those things were there. Yeah, Sharpshooter says he's still here. Thank you, Sharpshooter. They were just asking the question about the audio tones. Some guys weren't able to change them when they went over to sensitive full tones. And I haven't heard of that problem. So that might be something that needs to be shared. Bell says, yes, you can use all 3 tones and sensitive full tones. Thank you, Bells, which I thought that was right. I haven't messed with sensitive full tones with the new update. So again, that could be something that has changed. Yeah. Tallulah says, 1 week Daisy, this week Dixie. I thought I was watching a rerun of the Dukes of Hazzard. Yes, I had Daisy on here too, and Dixie's on here. And look,
I didn't even know that Daisy was on there.
Yeah, she's been on here. She came on, it was probably been about a month ago.
Okay.
And loved having her on here. And it's like I told you, y'all are South Carolina girls. I got to support you guys. They
were like 5 minutes from each other.
Right. So that's what's so funny too. Yeah. So, but always glad for you guys to be on here and share. Prospector Cash says, thanks, guys. Yeah. And Prospector's Cash, that's what I was going to recommend. Try reinstalling it and see if that works. And hopefully that does. And you can get up and running with that. So we're going to wrap it up because I know Dixie's probably ready to go to bed. I'm getting close. I got to work tomorrow, and I have graduation tomorrow night, which doesn't start till 7:30. So I have to attend that, which means I probably won't get home to 9 o'clock. So tomorrow's going to be a full day for me. So again, Sharpshooter says option key. But Sharpshooter, I think I feel like he knows how to get to it. I think the problem is he just doesn't have the option at all. So he may have to re-update in order for that to happen. Prospector's Cash says also, FYI, I was using Bone headphones in the water, so hopefully that didn't cause problems. It shouldn't. That shouldn't be an issue. Should not be an issue. Terry Greenway says, Dixie looks a lot better than Calabash. Calabash is one of my hunting partners, so that's what they're meaning by that. So, and normally he does live streams with me, so that's what that reference is. But yes, Dixie's a very beautiful young lady. Thanks all. Have a great night. Thank you, Dirt Devil Detecting. Thank you, Jay. Thanks for a great show, Dixie. It's been fun watching Dixie and her channel. Yes, go check her channel out. They're all telling you, thank you, Dixie, and get an XP Deus II, which Dixie and I talked a little bit about that before the show. So hopefully she'll be getting one. Thanks, Dixie. Nice meeting you on Southern Stream. Yes, and we enjoyed having Dixie on here. Joe Dirt says, let's see what this is. Joe Dirt says, I updated 3 times, including version 0.71. No program works with audio types. That's interesting, Joe Dirt. I mean, I wish I had a solution for you, and I don't. That you might have to contact XP, and maybe, I hate to say it, maybe even have to ship it in if you can't get it to work. Terry Greenway says, thanks. It's been fantastic. Congratulations with the graduation. Well, I graduated a long time ago, but I have to attend a graduation every year. Unfortunately, I have to be a part of it. But yeah, we got our graduation tomorrow night. Thank you, Chris. Great show tonight. Good night, everyone. Yeah, Dirt Devil Detective says senior unit in. Jim Pugh says refried. So yeah, lots of comments. All right, guys, we're going to sign off here. Again, Dixie, thank you so much. You were a great guest, and thanks for sticking around. I mean, you could have bailed, and when we got into all the technical mumbo jumbo, but I appreciate.
Well, I mean, like I'm interested, so I learned something. I learned I need to pick up shifts, get me a Deus, and a 9-inch and a 13-inch coil. So
Right. And look, and if you ever do get a Deus II, you're always welcome to come on here. And again, there's so much information that is shared on this channel, not only from myself, but from all the people that come on this channel every Friday night at 7:30. They tune in. We share information. We get familiar with our machines. We share programs. We share things that we're doing with these machines. We talk metal detecting talk, things that we found. I mean, all of that just goes into this show. And it's just a good time. I mean, it really is. And everybody on here is so knowledgeable. And everybody on here is just really, really friendly too, to go along with it. So it just makes for a really good time. And we really, really, really appreciate you being here. And guys, one more time, go. If you haven't checked out her channel, go check it out. I mean, you're not going to be disappointed. She's a super young lady, and she does a great job. And she's fantastic with her metal detector. And I see big things for her in the future because her channel is growing extremely fast. Like I said, I started watching her when I think she only had like 200 subscribers. She's up to almost 1,600 subscribers right now on YouTube. And she's growing really fast. She's getting a lot of attention, and she's really doing a fantastic job and is very enthusiastic, and she enjoys what she's doing. So go check it out. It's really a good watch for sure. So Dixie, anything you want to say before you leave?
I just want to say thank you. Thank you to you, and thank you to everybody watching, and just the whole metal detecting community. Everybody's been really welcoming and just so supportive, and I really am grateful for everything.
Well, we appreciate you too, and keep up the great work. And we look forward to following your adventures, just like Southern Relic Adventures. And you tell all those guys in the upstate I said hey, and I know the majority of them. And we appreciate you being on tonight. And stick around for a second after we sign off, and we'll chat for a second. And we will, for the rest of you guys, we will catch you real soon on our next adventure. Please like and subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. If this is your first time over here tonight and you like what you saw, we are going back to hopefully our regularly scheduled programming starting next Friday night at 7:30. Don't know who the guest is going to be, but we may have a surprise guest. So we'll see. But anyway, you guys take care. Have a great and wonderful weekend. Get out there, have fun, metal detect, enjoy yourself, enjoy your time with your families. Always, that's part of it. And we will catch you guys really, really soon. Okay, everybody take care. Have a great night. See you guys.